admit where we've made mistakes, and I'm the first in government to admit that we made a mistake. We should have started with early childhood development. Universal early childhood development should have started 30 years ago. That's what we should have done. And I'm also on record in saying maybe what we should have done, because we had a legacy of Bantu education, is to close all schools maybe for 2 years. A good friend of mine is laughing because she has heard me talk about this. Close all schools for 2 years, take the educators, take them to re-education centers and have them re-educated so that they are ready to now teach the children properly. Yes, the children would have run around in streets without any education for 2 years, but that would have gained us a lot of time to be able to reform our education at an early stage.
How's it? Welcome to Diamond Cornerstone. So the president has spoken and he has apologized, and we should have started 31 years ago. But the milk is spilt and the water is under the bridge, so we have a tradition of Bantu education which is still moving forward, because in education the system is pretty much ingrained into how we were taught. So we can't take every single teacher back to varsity. We can't expand worldview through international travel. But right now we've got a problem. We've got a reading to comprehension literacy level of illiteracy level of 81% for grade 4s in any language. So that means home language as well as English or any other language. So that means we've got a failed education system, and it's actually gotten worse over the years. I think 2016's stats was like 76%, now it's 81%. And with less and less comprehension from reading, that means we can't read manuals, we can't read instructions, we can't. So we've actually created a state after 31 years where our youth are actually unemployable. And now we're talking about economic growth, but it all starts with education. So we can't send our teachers back, but we can adopt a new model. And I recommend we make it a diamond, where we actually focus on process, value add, knowledge and product. All 4 aspects of curriculum, all 4 aspects of living life to the full. This is a little bit tougher, but right now we're actually sitting with a choice. We can either go like Singapore and say now we build. And it starts with education and the educators. There are educators in every single community, because guess what? There's a school in every single community. And the educators can educate our kids. We have a beautiful thing called internet nowadays, so you've got no excuse actually where to get more information. It's just that transfer of information. And if we do it within the cycle, as opposed to linear, and we do it integrated, we can actually integrate subjects. A lot of people think of compartmentalization, that's the separateness of how we think, like family is separate to physical health, separate to diet. But diet, what you eat, is going to have a direct effect on your physical health. And if you are sick, then you are a burden to your family. So they're actually intricately related. And likewise, history is interrelated to geography, related to science, related to maths, related to the languages. And the diamond shows this interlock between subjects, interlock between compartments of your life, between your career and your family and your church and your shop and your sports club and your entertainment. And yeah, I'm an educator, and this is the epiphany I've been blessed with, is this model that can actually change how we think, because everything is symptomatic of our thinking. If you think, let's imagine our trading partners aren't happy with us. So therefore we're not getting energy in. Now it feels like I'm repeating myself, but we need to get energy into the system. We need to get currency into the country. We need to get money in so the country can function. We can't live in debt. No one can live in debt. When the debtor calls in the debt, what are we going to sell? Then we get invaded. Then we get a different ruler. Then we can't govern ourselves. Then we're not a sovereign state. Because he who holds the debt actually makes the law. It's a rule. So we've got to get if we want transformation in South Africa, we need to up everybody's education. Because if you want to get a piece of land, you can get a piece of land and go and farm it. Because even just, it's expropriation without compensation. There's a responsibility when you get that land. You can't just put up a shack. There's rates, there's taxes, you've got to serve society at large. Whether you're growing chickens, fruit trees, vegetables, goats. If you want agricultural land, then you've got to do agriculture. If you want a townhouse, then you better get yourself start a business. Government's not there to give us businesses. I think that's the greatest illusion in this country, is the government's going to do. Our politicians haven't done business. They're BE recipients because they received fruit from someone else's tree. But they haven't built the business. They haven't gone through the labor of a failed product, failed finances, failed infrastructure. They're letting our infrastructure fail. But they should run municipalities and government like a business. People have a thing about Donald Trump because he doesn't have eloquence of words. He gets the job done. Everybody's going to trade with him. He said tariffs, he made a threat, and everybody's going to make a deal, except us. Are we trying to create our own struggle? Because no one's going to turn around and bail us out. There's no bailout here. And it's a discipline of anticipation. In 1994, we should have anticipated, hang on, we've got the lessons, we've got bad education or Bantu education, and we've got Model C education. And the Model C guys, they're moving forward. So we've got to get Model C education to replace Bantu education, aka. And the president said it. We should have re-educated our educators. Now we can't do that, but we have to start somewhere. And I'm giving a model. The diamond can be the model to teach knowledge and process and product. And through praxis, we add quality and improve. So yeah, this is a little bit more of a in-your-face talk, and not my happy smiley, but we've got a crisis. And unfortunately, I've been trying to get this out to the world for 23 years, saying this is how we change how we think to develop Africa, to develop South Africa. And there are 4 billion people below the breadline, as per the West. Because communism hasn't worked, Marxism hasn't worked, socialism hasn't worked. So therefore, all those countries are looking for business, free enterprise, community, expansion, growth, abundance. So this is my recommendation, is let's adopt the new mental model, a way of thinking. Let go of our tired old generalizations, assumptions. Let go of those and get down. We've got to roll up our sleeves and actually get the job done. So, yeah, many blessings. The stone that was rejected by the builders can become our chief cornerstone, and I recommend we make it a diamond. and welcome to our new Earth. It can be a utopian dream in reality. Blessings for the day.
Just go next door to Zimbabwe and see what happens when you do that.
Some
And
of the
if-
smarter, sorry.
And
please.
by the way, and if you think we are, I don't know, different, we're not.
Sure.
The average Zimbabwean, on a literacy level, you and I both will agree, outshines the average South African because their
100%.
education system is so good.
Sure.
So what do you think happens if the impact is the same, but the quality of education is not even the same? And, everything that's happened south of Central Africa, people migrate south. Where's our south?
You know, Rutendo Matinyarare, a Zimbabwean guy, is a mate
What a
of
guy.
mine.
What a guy. I saw
Has-
the interview we did with him.
He said, when you look at, because black South Africans are arrogant on the continent, and largely not because of anything black South Africans have built, but what British colonizers and
Did he say that?
white Afrikaners have done. If you compare black South Africans to other black Africans who
Yes.
generally own and run their economies,
Yes.
black South Africans on average are much poorer.
Yes.
So to what you're saying,
Yes.
never mind what's going to happen. If you compare the average Zimbabwean now who's struggling and having to grow their own food, they can grow their own food. They may not have
Yes.
money
Yes.
or whatever,
Yes.
but they
Yes.
are wealthier, smarter, stronger. Some of them even physically. That's why some have been argued to be the ones behind some of the crimes in South Africa, cash and transit, because the way they trained militarily and stuff is much more grittier than us.
Just go